Over 60 years ago in 1955, our history as the North Penn School System began with the creation of North Penn High School, a journey of excellence that led to the consolidation of the area's schools into one united community. Each decade, each year, each day, each hour, through passion, commitment, service, and genuine pride, the many architects of yesteryear have made what North Penn School District is today. The building blocks of the district are the North Penn staff, students, and community. Whether a bus driver, a facilities worker, a volunteer, a dedicated student, coach, or a teacher, each and every one of our North Penn family members has been an integral part of our success. Our buildings are nationally recognized for energy efficiency. We celebrate reading, diversity, and we continue to receive numerous state and federal grants for our district because of the creativity and dedication of this North Penn family throughout the years. In the classroom, teachers inspire a love of reading, a passion for learning, and encourage students to reach higher for success. Each teacher's passion for their students is evident as they adapt to the ever-changing educational climate. With this exceptional guidance, our students, our schools, and our district have gained national recognition for academic excellence each and every year. Outside the classroom, advisors and coaches model leadership on and off the field, develop compassion for others through school and community service, and encourage students to excel at their passion through commitment and dedication, and to take pride in themselves, in the Columbia and Blue, and in the North Penn School District. At all levels, North Penn students have been recognized for numerous local, state, and national achievements in academics, activities, and athletics. From this dedicated community, North Penn students have been given the building blocks of success both inside and outside of the classroom. From the first day of kindergarten to high school graduation, our students do great things each and every day. With the solid foundation received during their time at North Penn, our graduates have gone on to make a significant impact in science and technology, in local government, in entrepreneurship, in music, in business, and so much more. In every corner of success, there is a knight or a maiden. And of course, many alumni have come back full circle to their alma mater to influence the next generation to dream big and achieve greatness. Nearly 50,000 students have turned their tassels as North Penn graduates, and much more will follow in the years to come. As these new graduates embark on their journey into the world, we hope they hold North Penn close to their hearts and remember their past as they build for their future. Tonight we celebrate our Knights of Honor, those North Penn students and staff who have shown their exceptional leadership, outstanding dedication, and legendary North Penn pride to do incredible things for the North Penn School District and for their community. As John Quincy Adams once said, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader." Tonight, we will honor our leaders of the North Penn School District. We will never forget the past, the people who have made North Penn the best that it can be, today, tomorrow, and always.
What a beautiful way to start a beautiful evening. Good evening, everyone. My name is Todd Bauer, and I have the privilege of not only serving as the superintendent of this wonderful school district, but also emceeing tonight's festivities. Before we begin, I'd like to welcome our North Penn High School singers from our chorus to the stage, where they will sing the national anthem, followed by the alma mater. At this time, I ask that you please stand as you are able and join us in honoring our country.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? As knights who in the olden times would pledge their loyalty to keep their honor shining and ever true to be, we entered here at North Penn High with hearts resolved to dare our noblest aim to bring to fame our alma mater fair.
So our chorus singers were under the direction of Mr. Matt Klenk. Please give them another round of applause. So I have to say, I promise you, I have a script up here, but I'm going to go off script before I start the script and just say that the camaraderie in the lobby out there, down the concourse, was incredible. I can just tell that tonight's going to be a great night, filled with love and excitement and honoring these individuals. I just met Dr. Baughn a few minutes ago, and I already feel like he's my best friend. It's going to be one of those nights, and I'm really excited. So thank you for joining us. All right, now on to the script. It is with immense pleasure and honor that I stand before you tonight as we gather to celebrate the remarkable accomplishments of our 2024 Knights of Honor. Since the inaugural ceremony in 2016, which coincided with the 50th anniversary of the North Penn School District, we have inducted 17 extraordinary individuals into the Knights of Honor in 4 remarkable classes. Tonight, we come together to recognize and honor another group of people who have left an indelible mark on our school's history and serve as an inspiration to us all and students to come. Each of tonight's inductees embody our school district's core values, which we refer to as our 4 E's: ensuring belonging, elevating learning, engaging the community, and exceeding expectations. The honorees that will be presented to you this evening have not only excelled professionally, but have also demonstrated exemplary character, compassion, and a commitment to making a positive difference in our community and the world. To our honorees, know that your achievements are remarkable. You have worked tirelessly, overcome challenges, and embraced opportunities with determination and passion. Your dedication to excellence serves as a shining example for future generations of North Penn School District students. As you take your place among the Knights of Honor, remember that this is not only a recognition of your past achievements, but a challenge to continue striving for greatness in all that you do. Because the Knights of Honor program celebrates not just your achievements today, but also the promises of tomorrow. May you continue to inspire others, pursue your dreams with courage, and leave a legacy that enriches our school community and the world beyond. There is a lot to celebrate tonight, so it's time to get started. And my job is to introduce the people who will introduce the people. All of our inductees have someone introducing them, and they chose that individual. So it gives me great pleasure to start off tonight introducing my friend and former North Penn School District Board of Director, Dr. Wanda Lewis Campbell.
Thank you, my superintendent. Let me just say that we had a great chorus of graduates sitting over here who knew the alma mater just as well. And they had melodious voices. Thank you for that. To begin, I first want to congratulate all of the honorees tonight. Of course, Dr. Amaka Eneanya, who I'm going to introduce, Mr. Ken Weir, Mr. Heller, and Dr. Juan Baughn, who was also her principal when she started here. So congratulations, and Amaka, you're in good company. I was told I only had 1 to 3 minutes. How do you do that? Well, everything's in the book, the program. So you have every honoree's background, their resume, all of that good stuff. So really what I'm going to say is some things that maybe perhaps you don't know, because I could tell you that she graduated from here in 1998 and was involved in school co-curricular activities, track and field, went on to continue doing that, and when she graduated, ended up going to Cornell University. And from Cornell, she ended up at Meharry Medical School. And from Meharry, she did her residency in Boston at the Women's Hospital. And from there, she was recruited by Penn to come here. And while at Penn, became department chair of various departments as well as working. She's a nephrologist, a kidney doctor. Actually, I had never heard of that doctor until she became one. And so that's what she does. Dr. Eneanya has studied and researched and presented all over these United States and abroad. Her research is astounding, and that caused her to be recruited by Emory University, where she currently works. And so I said I didn't want to tell you all that because it's in the program. But what I did want to tell you is a few things about her. And the few things about her, even though this award is for Amaka, it's really for her family. You know, we say the African proverb, it takes a village. And the village surrounded her, beginning with her father. Amaka lost her mother at 12 years of age, and you know any young lady losing her mother at that young age, it's a trying time. But her father, Dr. Dennis Eneanya, stepped up to the plate along with some relatives to assist him, and the people he raised, his children in that family, I have to share their backgrounds with you. So Amaka has 2 older brothers and 1 younger brother. The oldest brother is Dr. Uche Eneanya, and he's a pain management specialist in New Jersey at a hospital there, a medical doctor. The second oldest brother is Dr. Obi Eneanya, and he's a doctor in New York, conducting surgery at a hospital in New York City. And then the baby brother is currently at Temple University working on his PhD in neuroscience. And then you have Amaka, second to the youngest. But think about that. This father raised 3 doctors in his family, medical doctors. And the interesting thing is we hear a lot about, well, what are these students learning at North Penn? Are they learning anything? Oh, yes, they are. And as a recent school board director, I know what they're planning and learning even now under Dr. Bauer's leadership. And so can anything good come out of North Penn? Yes. And we've seen probably a lot of doctors, maybe numerous ones, come out of this high school. But to see 3 in one family is remarkable. And I want to give Dr. Eneanya, Dr. Dennis, a round of applause for that. And so as I conclude and talk about Amaka, it's like, well, what do her friends say about her? And she has a very good friend in the audience right now, her girlfriend, Katrina, who flew up here from Jacksonville, Florida, to support her. She also has another friend, a young man, David, who's here to support her. And she has my daughter, who is also her good friend, who flew up from Atlanta but had to work in Maryland and is on the train as we speak, trying to get here to support Amaka. And so those friends say, well, of course, Amaka is very knowledgeable, very smart as heck, always able to speak on any topic. She gives the best medical recommendations and will refer you to other doctors when you call her trying to get free advice. They say she is silly. She's fun and sweet, approachable, kind, and compassionate, puts her whole self into whatever it is she does. They also say she is talkative, inquisitive, and assertive. And they said so much more that lends to her being a great friend they love to travel with. And they love to travel with her because she likes to eat too. And if you can recall, a couple of years ago, maybe 5 or 6, 7 years ago, a doll came out and it was called Doc McStuffin. Do you remember that, anybody? Okay, well, when she became a doctor, she became my Doc McStuffin. And so I am proud and honored that she would have me to introduce her. Her family is here, and we're happy to have them present, as well as all of you. And so I'm going to ask that you join me in welcoming my Doc McStuffin, Dr. Amaka Eneanya.
Good evening, everybody. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Lewis Campbell, for that lovely introduction and for the nomination. As you know, it came as a huge surprise. And so, whew. This is not in the script. I'm deeply appreciative towards what I lovingly call Miss Wanda, Mama Wanda, because she, over the years, has believed deeply in me and has supported me along the way, and so for that, I'm incredibly grateful. I also want to thank my family and friends, many of who came from out of town, as Miss Wanda said, my brothers, nieces, and my nephew, my best friend Katrina, and my boyfriend David. I also want to thank God for, without him, I would not be here, and I would not have done any of the things that I do or continue to do. And so the theme for today, for my acceptance speech, is belief. And having that belief in yourself and having others believe in you is really what pushes you through. I know it sounds cliche, but there's that has kept me going through multiple challenges. And so often on media and social media, people talk about failure resumes, and I challenge that because I don't think that we should have failures. That's a mindset. And so with every decision that you make, good or bad, you're going to learn from that. And so you can't call that a failure because you're learning from it. So I prefer to share what I'll call the challenge resume. And I had many challenges in my life that I feel like I was able to overcome, some of them occurring right here in Lansdale. And so 3 short examples, because I know I'm going to be on time. But the first example is, as Ms. Wanda already stated, that my mother passed away when I was 12. It was very sudden. She passed away from complications of having my last brother. So at the time, I was 12. My brothers were 14, 10, and 10 days old. And so I had to, as the female growing up in a Nigerian background, the female is expected to kind of step up and do a lot of the domestic activities and care for others. And so having that put on my shoulders at that time was hard, but it also helped me to create a system of organization and focus, right? So I could excel in athletics, excel in my academics, and take care of my family. And so what also drove me was to honor my mother. I think that it could have gone many different ways, right? To have a 12-year-old lose their mother, single father who was doing his medical training. He's also a nephrologist. I call him the doctor, the original Dr. Eneanya. And so it was, quite a burden for him as well. And so that was the first lesson, and that lesson is tenacity, determination in the context of support from my family, my extended family, friends is really what kept me going for that lesson. The second lesson had to do with my experience playing basketball. And so just based off of my height alone, as if I'm 5'10", I thought I was going to be like a D1 basketball player, and I wasn't. So I couldn't dribble, I couldn't shoot, and it was really Coach Jim Crawford, and I was hoping he would come tonight, but he's who was the basketball coach in junior high school, and he told me, right, he was very frank, he didn't put me on the bench, he would put me in, but he said, the skills could use some work, but guess what? Your vertical is amazing. You can jump so high. You can jump higher than most of the women on this court. So I want you to try out for the track and field team, which I did. Subsequently was able to make the team, and as you read in the bio, we were state champs 97, and I was a captain in 98, or co-captain in 98, and so was proud to have that honor. And I guess the lesson that I took from that is, if someone sees something that you don't even see in yourself, be open to that, be open to pivoting. Don't get so stuck on the outcome, right, that you close yourself off to greatness. I continued track and field my first year of Cornell, and have been staying active since then. And so that's a big part of my mindfulness, and is to stay fit, and that started with track and field here. The last example that I'll bring up is a challenge that I had when I was in college. And so I went to Cornell University and I applied for medical school. I applied to 21 schools. I got one interview. And that was my father's alma mater, University of Missouri, Columbia. Long story short, I didn't get in, and it was devastating. It was absolutely devastating to have all my pre-med friends, get multiple acceptances, and here I was at the beginning of my senior year, wondering where my life was going to take me. And so per the advice of my advisor, my father, and a few others, I decided to do 2 years of research, and I ended up being fortunate to get a job at Harvard University, where I made a lot of friends, a lot of connections. And the second time I applied, I got 6 interviews, 1 acceptance into Meharry Medical College, and 2 waitlists. And I remember at the time, I didn't know a lot about Meharry, right? It was the first historically Black medical college in the South, had a really significant history in terms of admitting physicians to school when they were denied entry because of their race. And so I remember my father filling in that history for me, and also my friends, Katrina and Nia, also attending historically Black colleges and giving me a lot of that information that I wasn't aware of, because I was looking at the wait list. And so my father was like, don't ever, hinge your opportunity on a maybe. You have this yes, you should accept this. And actually the exact words that you said, Dad, were, don't ever rule yourself out before you are ruled out. And that was, to me, the best piece of advice that I could ever get. And so, I'm going to dedicate this to you, Dad. This whole award, this honor, this lesson, because full circle, the research that I've done has led to some federal policies that have impacted millions of Black Americans with kidney disease, and my father being one of those individuals. And so I'd like to give you a round of applause, Dad. It all goes back to you. And so that's my message for tonight, is just to believe in yourself, and you can make anything happen. So thank you.
I think Pete Nicholson's in the back, and he uses the phrase, my eyes are sweating. So you might have a hard time reading this, but all of these beautiful plaques this evening read as follows. So I'll read the first one just for the benefit of the audience. And it says, North Penn Knights of Honor, Amaka Eneanya, for making a significant contribution to the North Penn School District, the community, and her chosen career. Congratulations, Dr. Eneanya. Okay. We're going to go off script again. So those of you in the audience who refer to me as Dr. Bauer, when I am in the presence of Doctors Eneanya, I'm Todd tonight, okay? I am not worthy of the name doctor, so congratulations. What a pleasure meeting you and your family and friends. Next up, I would like to introduce Mr. Bob Kennedy, Penndale Middle School band director and teacher, to join me on stage to introduce our next honoree. Mr. Kennedy.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Robert Kennedy, and I'm a band director in the district. It is truly a privilege to be in the presence of all 4 inductees tonight into the Knights of Honor. I would like to acknowledge Ted's wife, Lisa, son, Luke, and Nate, as well as the other members of the Heller family here in the audience. The support of family and friends has always been something Ted has relied upon in his career. Part band director, part mentor, and large part entertainer, Ted Heller has brought his unique combination of skills and energy to the North Penn School District. From growing up in the district to continuing on into teaching, or even stealing the show at Convocation. Remember Hey June? His impact here at North Penn has always been something to behold. I've been one of the people to see him at all the different stages of his North Penn journey. You might say I had a front row seat to the show. I met Mr. Heller as a middle school band student at Penfield. Years later, I followed him up to North Penn High School, where he was taking an already thriving program to new heights. He took over for another North Penn legend you see in the Knights of Honor, Steve Frederick. I know Ted is truly humbled by this honor, which for those of you who actually know Ted, humble is not usually the way he's described. Many successful seasons and concerts later, Ted began to look for a new challenge and decided to move to Penndale, where we worked together as band directors and his sons attended as students. Being a colleague of Ted Heller was always exciting, even if you were the punchline of many jokes. So many jokes. After 11 years at Penndale, where Ted excelled as always, energizing the students, and even branching out into running PD television as well as being an assistant golf coach, he decided to return to North Penn High School. You see, the program at that point was missing the positivity, enthusiasm, and personal touch that takes something from good to truly great. You know, all the characteristics that Ted brings to every activity he touches. So at the ripe age of 53, Ted came back up to North Penn High School to revitalize the program, and specifically the North Penn Marching Knights. That is the true Ted Heller. Deep inside, he cares about the students, the program, and the legacy of North Penn. He is truly deserving of this honor, and it is my pleasure as a former student, a colleague, and a friend to introduce Ted Heller.
Good evening, everyone. And yeah, there's no script. We're winging this. But I have some notes, but before we do that, I need to go off script for a second. I walked in and someone says, "Are you nervous?" I said, "No, there's no need to be nervous." And then I walked in and then I saw the wall with the names. And I go, oh my God. Because growing up in this building and teaching in this building, I know many of those names, and they're all legends to me. My dream became realized when I not only saw my name up there, my name was above Juan Baughn's name. Now let's begin. This has nothing to do with him. He was my principal for years, and boy, he put me through so much, but I didn't realize until afterwards. He showed me so much. Congratulations, boss. So, growing up, my mom would always say, you know, Teddy, you got to be one of the luckiest people I know. And there's 3 people that in my life call me Teddy. It was my mom, my sister, and again, Juan Baughn. She goes, you've got to be one of the luckiest people I know. And after today, when I got the email that says I've been inducted into the Knights of Honor, I said, holy smokes, it's on March the 7th, 2024. Folks, today's my birthday. That's really for my mom, I assume, because I didn't do anything. But I'm 60 years old today. And I just think of my mom's words, like, you are so lucky, and I'm starting to believe it. So my North Penn journey started back in '72. I went to J. Henry Specht Elementary School. I don't remember many of those teachers, but I remember my band director, Mr. Sodi. I went to Pembroke Middle School. And again, I don't remember many of my teachers. I remember Don Klein. And then I come up here in the fall of '79, and I get involved with a program that literally changed my life. And it put me on a direction that is the reason why I'm here today. And getting to North Penn High School and meeting the man, again, the first name, because I know his name is up on the board, it's up on the right-hand side, top right. I know his name. See, it was that's kind of caught me off guard. I know now how Jason Kelsey felt. Who, by the way, mentioned his high school band director. Steve was everything to me. And and the worst part, I followed him into this program. I was a member of his band for 3 years. He put me on staff once I changed my major. I was a computer science math major, folks. I went to Temple. No. Calc 2 changed my life forever, I should be honest with you. Steve puts me on staff. I'm on staff for 7 years. And then Steve decides to go into administration. I apply with Fred Schmidt. And at the time, the greatest title of my life, I get Ted Heller, Director of Bands of North Penn High School. And I would go to Giant Stadium at the end of each marching band season for championships, and I'd look up on the board as we're walking into the tunnel, the massive facility, the band's behind me, and it only says Marching Knights, Band Director Ted Heller. And it's almost embarrassing, and I knew back then, and it didn't come to, I knew back then, it was so much more than Ted Heller, because it's so many characters supporting me behind the scenes. North Penn, through the 70s till now, has the greatest student body. We push our students, and I'm talking basically in the music, because I don't really know all the other words. I do know the golf world, the JV golf team. I want to give the JV golf team a shout out. But I know how hard the musicians work. And I know how the parents would sacrifice and the kids would sacrifice for so many events to make our season happen. So up on the board is my name, and I think, okay, it's the students. It's also the North Penn music staff. My year starts, let me back up for a second. The elementary school teachers, they're showing their kids day one, this is how you put the instrument together. This is how you get a sound out of your instrument. They're in the front lines. They're in the battlefields. The middle school directors, well, I don't need to say anything special about them because everything they've done is so well documented in every conference that they've attended. Many of those people are going to be included in the Knights of Honor. Day one is for elementary kids putting instruments together. Day one at North Penn High School, we're going to play Copeland. We're going to play Bernstein today. And I get to do that because of the people that are behind the scenes working at the elementary and middle school levels. We would take the field for 9 years in a row. 9 years, the North Penn Marching Knights didn't lose a U.S. bands competition. For 9 years in a row, we walked out of Giant Stadium as champions. Band director, Ted Heller. So much more than that. The marching night staff they worked for gas money. And sometimes they didn't even get that. And they were so dedicated to the marching night staff. And there's really one person who I was with the whole time. My whole journey, starting when I marched for 3, was on staff for 7, and I was director for 18. He's in the audience right now. But Eric, you know what you mean to me, you know? And I know what you did for me and what you did for the program. And I know when I see my name up to the stadium lights, it's so much more than that. I am so honored to be your friend, and thank you for everything you did for me and for the program. Thanks, Eric. And then there's a group of people who are flat out fanatics. Some people say it's a cult. The North Penn Music Aids. Folks, I'm here to dispel all those rumors. But to be honest with you, it is a cult. They're out of their minds. They give up, they get out of work early on a Friday afternoon to grill hamburgers and hot dogs to make 25 cents a hot dog to raise money. They sacrifice family vacations so they could take a band trip, so they can load up a truck, so they can travel across country with all their equipment. They did so many things behind the scenes, so many times I didn't even know. They would chaperone our band trips. I would say, hey, I need you to do bed checks. I need you to get on the airline. You're going to be in charge of this group. And by the way, I need to pay a couple $100 to pay for your trip as well. Never a problem. The music aids, there's something special about the music aids, and I can't thank them enough as well. I've had the presidents that I dealt with were all gems to deal with, and I can't say enough of great things about them. The music aids also taught me one other thing. They taught me how to be a dad. And they showed sacrifice, they showed me leadership, and I watched them in the music aids. They showed me how to be a dad. So back in 1993, we're in this, towards musical season, and my youngest son's born, who's in the crowd tonight, and he's also a North Penn grad. He went to Penn State, and he's in the crowd, and 2 years later, I'm having rehearsal right here for the musical. And that year, we're doing Guys and Dolls. And any of you know that trivia, or the songs of Guys and Dolls, Luke was coming to all the rehearsals. And he's going to have a baby brother soon. So his baby brother's born, and we're going to ask him, Luke, what do you want to name your baby brother? Yeah, I'm going to sing. Why, it's good old reliable Nathan, Detroit. So his brother named him. We changed to Detroit, put Heller. Both boys, North Penn graduates, graduated class of 2011, 2013. Both went to Penn State, both highly successful, and they're both here tonight. Please stand up, both of you. Just say hi, just wave or something. Their mother did a lot behind the scenes as well. My ex-wife, Maria Kamenetsky, I wasn't home a lot because I was here so much. She did so many things for them where I couldn't be there, but she did something so important. She gave them great study habits, because God knows you did not want my study habits. So Maria Kamenetsky, thank you. Thank you very much. There's two people in the crowd who need to get a shout out, because it was the one part of my job I really enjoyed. And I really enjoyed it because I didn't have to do paperwork. Cindy Loudon, Andrea Roney. Cindy Loudon came up to me in my first year, I think it was like 1990. Hellerman, Cindy called me Hellerman. By the way, Cindy's up on the board, Knight of Honor. Hellerman, get ready. You ready? I said, yeah. What are you going to do? We're going to do West Side Story. If you know anything about the musical world, West Side Story is the hardest musical I've ever conducted. I actually played it years ago, and I had to practice the music. Practice, we're talking about practice. West Side Story. That was Cindy Loud. Andrea Roney, where are you? I see you back there. You gave me a gift. It was right here. I stood right there. I think it was Wednesday, Gold Card matinee, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, Sunday matinee, all the shows. Well, maybe not the Gold Card, but all the shows. This place erupted with excitement in the aisles, singing, yelling, dancing. And I'm down there with the best musicians possible. And it was just a magical scene for me. So, to Cindy Loud and Andrea, thank you so much. I do have to apologize to two people. Bob Kennedy, Davis Giersch. I could not imagine dealing with me daily in an office, especially when I'm bored. Bob Kennedy told me there is nothing worse than Ted Heller bored with a microphone. So I'm sorry. And Davis, I know you're watching. If you're not watching, you'll watch later, but I apologize to Davis because, boy, I had a lot of enjoyment, and I actually learned a lot from both of you. I can't believe I learned a lot from you. He was my I had him when he was in 6th grade, and I learned so much, and I loved working with you. Dr. Lisa Heller, my wife, finally I'd like to give you a shout out. You said, I'm not really part of your career. And I said, actually, you were a big part of my career because you came at the right time because you gave me the best advice. She says, I think you can retire. And I agree with you. You were right. So as I close out, I do want to give one more thing to you, Dr. Lisa. And that is, tonight I'm being knighted. And you know who else has been knighted? Paul McCartney. Elton John. And you know what they call them? Sir Paul, Sir Elton. So, Sir Ted, time to take out the trash. I get it. So, Lou Gehrig aside, I think my mom has been right. What a pleasure this has been. What a ride, what a journey. I loved my job here. I loved my job on the last day, but it was the right time. Oh, I forgot to tell. The part she said about retiring, the very next year, COVID hit, and I would have been a failure online. So it was just everything. Again, I got lucky. So Lou Gehrig aside, maybe I'm the luckiest man. I want to thank the selection committee. I don't even know how my name, really? How did I get here? How's my name with the others on that wall? I am so honored. Thank you to the selection committee. Jordan, I know you were a part of it. Thank you very much. And congratulations to the other recipients as well. Brother, I can't wait to hear from you. Folks, thank you so much.
Bob, that's what you meant by humble. Yeah. He worked in Jason Kelsey, Allen Iverson. Ted, I've never understood, why do the North Penn music aides never call themselves Band-Aids? Right? I don't understand. I don't get it. All right. Anyway, congratulations, Ted Heller. Thank you for exceeding expectations. Well deserved. I had the honor of working with Ted when I was the principal here at the high school. Next up, to introduce our next Knight of Honor, is two of the finest people you will ever meet, and also people I consider my dear friends. Please welcome to the stage former, well, I guess forever, Knights of Honor, Ted and Bonnie Knaus.
Good evening. As past honorees, Bonnie and I appreciate the efforts that the North Penn community does to recognize people like tonight, folks tonight, that have contributed so much to the success of North Penn. 2 years ago, we were introduced by our good friend Ken Weir. Now it is our honor and privilege to be able to introduce Ken Weir as a Knight of Honor. Whew. We congratulate Ken and the other class of 2024. Thank you. Ken is truly a knight. He dedicated most of his adult life to this school district with a deep sense of commitment and passion. His contributions are a direct result of pride, confidence, devotion that no one can question. When we think of Ken, we think of him as an educator. Although he was only in the classroom for about a decade, he continued to utilize his teaching ability, his leadership, his influence on countless people throughout his career. A quote by Henry Adams, you might know this quote, goes like this: "A teacher affects eternity. And yes, he can never tell where his influence stops." And yes, Ken, you have inspired us and so many others, and your influence continues to bring inspiration. That influence is still present today, and we are deeply indebted to you for your innovative spirit. Ken is a pioneer and an idea man. He used his skills and knowledge to bring innovative ideas to fruition. Many of his contributions are taken for granted today, but are key to the success of North Penn as a leader and an innovator in its own right. Ken is an enabler, giving people opportunities to develop and pursue their dreams. This is so evident because he enjoyed and thrived on others' successes. Both of us are recipients of that approach, and we succeeded in our efforts and know that can enable us. We are confident that there are so many others that can say the same. Ken was and is a mentor, always supporting, encouraging, and developing others, but he was never in the spotlight. Well, tonight you can't escape that spotlight, Ken.
Ken was the glue that brought innovation to reality, never boastful, but always proud of doing what was best for North Penn, the students, the staff, and the community. For us personally, Ken began as a leader of so many efforts. Dance instructors, by the way, we can instruct after this little thing, if anybody wants to learn ballroom dancing. The exchange program, the craft show, the educational foundation, and many more things. Ken supported us in these multiple efforts and then let us succeed on our own. He encourages, supports, works side by side, and then gives us all the ability to become successful by his caring, orchestrated influence. Those who have been touched by his influence are truly enriched. North Penn was his life, although family is extremely important to him. His wife, Carol, is an amazing support and a true educator in her own right. He is extremely proud of his daughter, Barbara, and her husband, Bruce, and their engaging 4 daughters, Julia, Carolyn, Emily, and Kate. Ken is a true friend, and so is his wife, Carol. Their genuine warmth, their engaging enthusiasm, and their keen judgment has had a profound effect on all of us. We appreciate and are deeply thankful for this amazing couple for enriching so many lives. Yes, Ken deserves this honor for his amazing contributions, but what we are all really proud of is Ken's humility his unselfishness, and his genuine passion. For these reasons and countless others, we take this opportunity to introduce Ken Weir as a true Knight of Honor.
The first two honorees were so entertaining, I'm tempted to put my remarks aside and go off script, but I'm not sure where that would take us. So maybe I should stay with my notes. Thank you, Superintendent Todd Bauer. Thank you to other administrators and to any board members. And thank you to Christine Liberaski and her staff, especially to Virginia Higgins. My parents often told me that being proud was bad. Humility was good. Upon graduating from college, I was drafted into the Army. I spent 2 years with an MP company at the maximum security military prison at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. After that, I was eager to begin a teaching career. So I interviewed at North Penn several months before my discharge was scheduled. I was promised a job. I was a happy guy. And I was especially happy to get out of jail. During my first week in the classroom, the principal came to the door saying that the yearbook advisor had resigned. And did I want the job? I was eager to get to know everyone, and I knew that publishing the yearbook would open many doors. I soon realized that I had accepted a very big extra duty assignment. One day I asked the principal why we didn't have any exchange students. He said no one had ever suggested it. So I asked if I could explore the possibilities. We soon had a partner school in West Germany, and we exchanged our first students for the 62-63 school year. Remember, Debbie? A committee of parents helped to establish the partnership that has continued for 63 years. During those same years, I inherited the Kiwanis-sponsored Key Club, and soon we had the largest Key Club in Pennsylvania, all boys then. We had some impressive projects. The best was planting memorial trees for former students who made the supreme sacrifice in Vietnam. Kurt Deerdorf was one of our Key Club presidents in those years. Is Kurt here tonight? I think maybe he is. Thank you, Kurt. And now a shout out to Linda Law for the work she has been doing with the Co-Ed Key Club. Very impressive work indeed. After 9 years in the classroom, the school board officers told the superintendent that they wanted me to be in charge of public relations for the district. The superintendent wasn't sure about that, but the board officers were. The board was getting ready to tell the community about the new North Penn High School, and they wanted me to manage the communication. So I was fortunate to sit with the superintendent, the board, the architect, through countless late-night discussions. The board wanted to be sure this stage would accommodate a touring Broadway musical, they insisted. They wanted this to be an auditorium for the entire community. They wanted maximum seating capacity. Those board members had strong opinions, and I learned a lot listening to their reasoning. The board officers wanted me to go to seminars and workshops and bring back ideas, so I had many good learning experiences with the Pennsylvania School Public Relations Association and the National School Public Relations Association. The recently retired executive director of the National Association, Rich Began, and his wife Carolyn drove up from Washington to be here tonight. Thank you. The board officers told me to go to many workshops, and they took me to many workshops sponsored by school boards associations. I was learning faster than I could implement. As I began to think about my remarks for tonight, I thought about what gave me the most pleasure during my North Penn years. And that became a very long list. I remember welcoming candidates for key administrative positions and giving them a tour of the community. Dr. Baughn was on such a tour with me, and while we were riding, I told him that North Penn needed a cheerleader. I told him we had a great school and that people needed to be told regularly. Dr. Baughn was not only a fine leader, he was a super cheerleader. I liked being the MC for pep rallies back in the 60s. I really enjoyed that. And I was especially happy whenever our championship teams returned with a parade of flashing lights and sirens. And I was happy to be in charge of special events. I was happy to be able to produce publications which explained our programs and our accomplishments. Teachers, administrators, and a dedicated support staff created a culture here which is respected and valued. And I was very happy to help grow the brand. I was especially happy during the Gold Card matinees at the Spring Musical, with the auditorium filled with senior citizens. Welcoming the community into this building is something I will never forget. People were really proud of their new high school. Being able to hire Bob Gilmer and Mary Anderson Fakish and watch them develop an excellent district television effort was a goal achieved and a big leap forward. As I began my community relations job, I decided a high priority would be getting more people into the schools, more residents into their schools. Opening school facilities to community groups was coordinated in my office. Efforts to grow the number of volunteers was important. The community education classes brought in some residents who had never ever been in a public school. I wanted everyone to be proud of their schools and to see how their tax dollars were being spent. For many years, our office staff provided editorial support for all schools and district organizations. We edited, proofread, and published 20 different newsletters on a regular schedule. Our district activities calendar became a model imitated by countless school districts. Other publications won prizes. We always featured our students and their fine teachers. I became the school board secretary in 1991. I didn't take shorthand notes, but I provided the official signature for board business, and I helped to navigate some troubled times. But we emerged, North Penn strong. During the years in the district office, I was fortunate to have two excellent assistants. First, Betty Lou Moyer, and later, Gail Tatum. I enjoyed working with some mighty fine people, and some of them are here tonight. I would like them to be recognized, so maybe they'll wave their hand and say hello. Pat DeCandelo, Sandy Taylor, Eileen Peters, Eleanor Moyer, Carol Schaub, and Gail Tatum Dankert, who came from Boston today. And now special thanks to Christine Liberowski and her staff, because Christine has taken community relations to a much higher level, a fine level. Many of my students became friends of the family, especially those from the class of '63. Tom Lemon has been a special friend since he sat in my 9th grade classroom in 1959. He has become my other brother from a different mother. I remember being away from home many nights. And so tonight, I thank my wife, Carol, our daughter, Barbara, for sharing me with North Penn. As I observe my 90th birthday in a few days, I cherish my memories. This event has been a mighty fine birthday gift. Thank you.
I feel like we should sing happy birthday. It's a birthday party. Jeez Louise. Congratulations, Ken. And something that was mentioned subtly there, but Ken also started the North Penn Educational Foundation. And the impact of the Ed Foundation continues very, very powerfully today. So Ken, thank you for everything. You have certainly engaged our community, so thank you. Next, I would like to introduce a gentleman who doesn't need much of an introduction, former North Penn High School principal, Mr. Bert Hines.
Good evening, everyone. I just have to find where the mic is here. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for being here this evening and sharing tonight with our 4 2024 Knights of Honor inductees. Our next inductee will always be one of the most favorably memorable and enduring legends to serve as a North Penn administrator. This honoree served as the principal of North Penn High School for 9 years, from 1987 through 1996, after having previously served in other districts as an elementary teacher, basketball coach, track coach, dean of students, elementary principal, and as the principal of Kennett High School. Following his retirement from North Penn High School, he became a professor in the Educational Leadership Program at Lehigh University. Then, his subsequent work as a special assistant to the Pennsylvania Secretary of Education eventually led him to provide seasoned, hands-on educational leadership as superintendent of schools for the Chester Upland School District in Delaware County. It's been a truly impressive career ladder that included North Penn High School as the keystone to widespread recognition of our honorees' visionary and leadership talents. Back in 1987, this honoree was recruited and selected to lead North Penn High School as our principal by then Superintendent Dr. Francis J. Rhodes. And almost immediately, it became very clear to this community that this high-energy principal had an unmistakable vision. He wanted North Penn High School to be recognized by Washington's Blue Ribbon Schools Commission as a national school of excellence. It was an aspirational goal, and our new leader confidently assured us that there was much work to be done in order to make the goal a reality. And so he inspired our students, our staff, and the community with the now infamous slogan that we were climbing toward excellence. The goal was visible everywhere, on letterhead, in the daily bulletin. It was advertised on the bell schedules that were generously posted in every instructional space and every office in the building. To boldly and uniquely launch the goal with our entire student body in September of 1987, our honoree envisioned an all-school assembly right here in this auditorium, a 1,700-seat auditorium. Never mind that we had over 2,200 students enrolled at the time. Our new leader challenged us to figure out how to make it work, and together we did it. All school assemblies became an annual tradition for opening a new school year. The marching band played on the stage, additional seating was set up between the green and the gold sections, and their inductee confidently sang Whitney Houston's Greatest Love of All. Or, other years he may have read The Little Engine That Could, but he did it to the entire high school in order to set a tone of optimism, expectations for hard work, and a sense of family. In ensuing years, progress on the goal was indicated by modifying the wording, but never the goal, to say the climb continues. Until North Penn High School was formally recognized by the Blue Ribbon Schools Commission as a National School of Excellence in 1991. On the path to national recognition and beyond, our honoree focused on student achievement in academics, athletics, and activities. And he created an annual North Penn High School recognition program that celebrated the accomplishments of our students at the regional, state, and national levels. Honored students were awarded a coveted ceramic tile which always included the theme, academics plus athletics plus activities equals excellence. And that was emblazoned above a graphic representing North Penn High School on the tile. Our honorees' transformational style of team leadership and governance quickly shifted our building administration from a composition of a principal and three grade level principals. We shifted to a collective team that included one principal, three assistant principals, our athletic director, our school psychologist, and our director of student activities. And we met weekly at length to ensure that each member of the team was fully knowledgeable about where we were going and how we were going to do that. Our honoree insisted that the perspectives of all stakeholders were needed to be considered whenever decisions were required. Always attuned to the feelings of others, our honoree emphasized that perception is reality and focused on the importance of precise, clear, and accurate communications, both orally and in written form. By example, he demonstrated a sensitivity to the needs of all before that concept was a part of our collective consciousness. On the bulletin board in his office, the quote, "Seek first to understand, then to be understood." And that was prominently displayed throughout his tenure, both as a philosophy and as a reminder to all those who met there. Our honoree firmly believed that staff achievements needed to be recognized and celebrated too, and the annual Wind Beneath My Wings Award was initiated and bestowed upon deserving teachers, secretaries, custodians, cafeteria leaders, security, and assistant principals in recognition of their contributions to upholding standards of expertise in their chosen area. Our Our impeccably attired honoree was ever present at school activities, sporting events, both home and away, and always a visible, comforting presence when students or staff faced life's joys or challenges or sadness. Never shy with a microphone, our honoree routinely and effectively used the PA system to convey his messages with the all-inclusive, attention-grabbing introduction, "Everyone under the sound of my voice," which meant those in the parking lot or in a courtyard were expected listeners too. In an effort to engage the students who didn't view school as a link to their future careers, our honoree created the interdisciplinary Tech Prep program and also the School to Work program. He introduced us to the celebration of Kwanzaa, Black History Assemblies, and our AAAC. After school hours, he quietly coached father figures to mentor Black youth for long-term successes. And he worked at ensuring that his own daughters, Kendra and Kia, had as normal a teenage experience as possible in a school in which their dad was the principal. Keep in mind that our honoree was the principal of North Penn High School before K-Pod existed, before the Rick Carroll Natatorium, or the senior CAF existed. But this was always a complex educational facility and the showplace of the entire community, a place where young folks came to be educated, to socialize, and to feel emotionally supported. Tonight's honoree focused his attention on all three of those facets, but especially the last, when he frequently reminded everyone under the sound of his voice that, and I quote, "If you're feeling down and you think that no one cares, just remember one thing: Dr. Baughn loves you." My friends, please welcome tonight's worthy honoree, our champion of excellence, Dr. Juan Baughn.
My daughters kept whispering in my ear when Mr. Heller was speaking and saying, "Don't do it, Daddy." I want to thank you, Mr. Hines, for that introduction. And I also want to thank you, Mr. Hines, for 9 tremendous years that we had working together. I want to congratulate the class of 2024. I'm honored to be in your class. A student of mine, the good doctor, if only for a year. I know that sophomore year is why you are what you are today. Communications Director, Mr. Ken Weir, who was so supportive and so incredibly helpful when, as you can imagine, me and my family moving into the North Penn School District, and we will be forever grateful. And to the teacher, I am not so proud to say I hired. And I want to make it, that is not true. I'm extremely proud that I hired Mr. Heller. I'm just surprised he lasted so But I need to say this. I need to say this. Your name may be ahead of mine on that board out there, ... So thank you so very, very much. And Mr. Gilmer, if you would, please. To the surprise of many of you, I have used the story of the little engine that could as a metaphor for life in my work for over 50 years. You remember the story. The original engine broke down and could not carry the train full of all the wonderful things for the good little boys and girls on the other side of the mountain. Who will come to their rescue? You may also remember that on at least 3 separate occasions, other engines came along, each refusing to help, and each time the dolls and toys wanted to give up. But there was a funny little clown on that train, and that funny little clown would not let them give up. And finally, they spotted a very little blue engine in the yard, an engine that had never been to the other side of, oh, it's not Black History Month, I can't talk about the other side of the mountain, I'm sorry. My fault. Some of you got that, some of you didn't, and you'll be thinking about that for a long time. But that little blue engine saw the tears in the doll's eyes and thought about the boys and girls on the other side of the mountain. And with that clown, that funny clown's encouragement, she said, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And up, up, up she went until she had reached the top of the mountain. And as she traveled down the other side of the mountain, she said, very, very proudly, I thought I could, I thought I could, I thought I could, and I thought I could. And because she thought she could, she did. And what I want you to remember most about this story, no matter where I am in the world and I tell the story, I say, what I want you to remember most is if it had not been for the clown, there would have never been a little blue engine. So I stand before you tonight to thank all the clowns in my life, and there's many of you in here. And I invite the rest of you who are not the clowns in my life to be a clown in someone's life. And I know most of you in here, it's not a long trip for most of you. So whether you were a student of mine, parent, faculty member, staff member, district office personnel, custodian, a food worker, a bus driver, one of my many assistant principals, whether you were a special friend or whether you were Don Ryan or Sadie Byer, I simply want to say thank you. Thank you for making me a clown, and thank you so much for making me also the engine that could. And to my daughters, Kendra and Kia, I cannot tell you how proud I was when you walked across that stage at graduation. To my wife, Joyce, family members and friends who are here to celebrate with me tonight, I say thank you. God has blessed me. God has blessed me, and I'm truly, truly grateful. So in closing, I was bad, wasn't I? I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. This is my spot. This is my spot. I can't tell you how many teachers I sat in this auditorium. There were 2 people in this auditorium, teachers and me. So in closing, I'm a Baptist. I get to say in closing at least 3 times. So in closing, if for any reason, sometime today, tomorrow, next week, or next year, you feel that nobody loves you, just remember. Thank you so very much.
As I said at the beginning of tonight's festivities, I had never had the privilege of meeting Dr. Baughn, but I certainly knew that there were some legends that were North Penn High School principals, and we just saw 2 of them. And you are right, Dr. Baughn, you were a bad man. I love it, I love it. So thank you so much. Look at that, come on now. That's great. They wouldn't allow that these days. Things have changed. It's fire code violations, putting chairs in there. There's a video, I don't know if you heard this, but we recycled a clip of you when we were going through the referendum to renovate the high school. And it was a 1996 video. And you're up at the school board meeting, and you had a map of the high school, and you said, this building needs work. It needs work. It still needs work. It still needs work. So thank you, Dr. Baughn, and congratulations to everyone. You certainly ensured belonging when you were here at North Penn High School, and we are grateful. So once again, I want to congratulate all the inductees. Thank you to everyone who has joined us this evening to celebrate these remarkable individuals. I also want to thank the committee who helped us select tonight's recipients. And there's a few others as well before I kick it over to one of our esteemed board members. The JROTC cadets who were passing out programs this evening, our choir singers who added their support and talents this evening, and finally the Office of School and Community Engagement that you heard much about throughout some of these speeches for all their hard work in planning the ceremony. In particular, Virginia Higgins and Erica Shadle. Let's give them a round of applause. Along with the entire communications team and North Penn Television. Let us continue to support and encourage each other as we strive for excellence and make our mark on the world. And before we head to the concourse for refreshments, I do want to ask that Mrs. Julianne Ramich, School Board Director, offer some final words. After Mrs. Ramich says a few words, please join us in the concourse. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, since Dr. Bauer brought up that video clip of Dr. Baughn from 1996, I feel like I need to start with a story about that. That video inspired my daughters, who one is a current North Penn High School student and one graduated. They lined up dented water bottles and itemized cell phone damage. The video clip was about the crowded hallways. And they did a cost analysis of the damage caused in those crowded hallways. It was devastating, the cost to damage. And those were not problems in 1996. Cell phone damage of being dropped because of, anyway. But I can assure you that as a school board member, that my fellow school board members and the administration and our community are committed to getting us to the other side of the mountain. And we look forward to seeing this renovation through. So we're grateful for that. But what an incredible evening. I just want to take a moment to again thank and honor and recognize our honorees. As a school board director, it is very common for us to be presented and consider items that impact students of today and in the future. And tonight, it was truly just a treat to be able to sit in the audience and be able to reflect with all of you and to share and listen to your experiences of our honorees and your work with them. So thank you to our honorees on behalf of the North Penn School Board of Directors. Thank you for your careers, what you've given to the North Penn community and to the world. Tonight I was telling my daughter, current North Penn student, where I was going this evening and describing the event. She goes, "Oh, I know exactly who those people are. Those are the people whose photos and their bios hang in our hallways." She goes, "Have you read about them? They're really incredible." So in addition to all the things that you have accomplished, you can add to your bios and all that you've done, the coolness factor that our students think that you're cool. So of all the things that you've been recognized for this evening, I have one final thing that I want to thank you for, and that is for continuing to inspire our North Penn students. So the experience of my daughter sitting in the hallway and recognizing your photos and what you've done, you inspire the next generation of North Penn Knights. And for that, we are incredibly grateful. So thank you all so much. Thank you for being here, and we look forward to seeing you out in the lobby. Thank you.